Dear friends, I welcome you all to my YouTube channel Mithun Study Group. In today's video, I have prepared about the historical background of Indian Constitution, which include Company rule from 1773 to 1858 and are useful for various competitive examinations. Okay guys, now let's get started. Historical background of Indian Constitution. The British came to India in 1600 AD as traders in the form of East India Company. East India Company was also known as East India Trading Company or English East India Company. The East India Company was founded in the year 1600 for persuading the trade with the East Indies, which includes South Asia and Southeast Asia. But the East India Company traded mainly in the Indian subcontinent and China. The East India Company has exclusive rights to trade in India. In the year 1765, the East India Company obtained Diwani, which means rights over revenue and civil justice of Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. In the year 1858, after the Sepoy Mutiny, British Crown assumed direct responsibility for the governance of India. This rule continued up to August 15, 1947. Company Rule 1773 to 1858. Regulating Act of 1773. It was the first step taken by the British government to control and regulate the affairs of the East India Company in India. It recognized the political and administrative functions of the company. It laid the foundations of central administration in India. Features of Regulating Act of 1773. It designated the Governor of Bengal as the Governor General of Bengal and created an executive council of 4 members to assist him. The first Governor General was Lord Warren Hastings. It made the governors of Bombay and Madras presidencies subordinate to the Governor General of Bengal, unlike earlier when the 3 presidencies were independent of one another. It provided for the establishment of a Supreme Court at Calcutta in 1774, comprising 1 Chief Justice and 3 other judges. It prohibited the servants of company from engaging in any private trade or accepting presents or bribes from the natives. It strengthened the control of the British government over the company by requiring the Court of Directors, a governing body of the company, to report on its revenue, civil and military affairs in India. Pitt's India Act of 1784. In a bid to rectify the defects of the Regulating Act of 1773, the British Parliament passed the Amending Act of 1781, which is also known as the Act of Settlement. The next important act was the Pitt's India Act of 1784. Features of the Pitt's India Act of 1784. It distinguished between the commercial and political functions of the company. It allowed the court of directors to manage the commercial affairs but created a new body called Board of Control to manage the political affairs. Thus, it established a system of double government. It empowered the Board of Control to supervise and direct all operations of the civil and military government or revenues of British possessions in India. This act was significant for two reasons. First one, the company's territories in India were for the first time called the British possessions in India. And second one, the British government was given the supreme control over company's affairs and its administration in India. Charter Act of 1833. This act was the final step towards centralization in British India. Features of Charter Act of 1833. It made the Governor General of Bengal as the Governor General of India and vested in him all civil and military powers. Thus, the Act created for the first time a government of India having authority over the entire territorial area possessed by the British in India. Lord William Bentinck was the first Governor General of India. It deprived the Governor of Bombay and Madras of their legislative powers. The Governor General of India was given exclusive legislative powers for the entire British India. The laws made under the previous acts were called as regulations, while the laws made under this act were called as acts. It ended the activities of East India Company as a commercial body, which became a purely administrative body. It provided that the company's territories in India were held by it in trust of His Majesty, his heirs and successors. The Charter Act of 1833 attempted to introduce a system of open competition for selection of civil servants and stated that the Indians should not be debarred from holding any place, office and employment under the company. However, this provision was negated after opposition from the Court of Directors. Charter Act of 1853. This was the last of the series of Charter Acts passed by the British Parliament between 1793 and 1853. It was a significant constitutional landmark. Features of the Charter Act of 1853. It separated for the first time the legislative and executive functions of the Governor General's Council. It provided for addition of 6 new members called legislative councillors to the council. In other words, it established a separate Governor General's Legislative Council which came to be known as the Indian Central Legislative Council. This legislative wing of the council functioned as a mini parliament adopting the same procedures as the British Parliament. Thus, legislation for the first time was treated as a special function of the government, requiring special machinery and special process. It introduced an open competition system of selection and recruitment of civil servants. The covenanted civil service was thus thrown open to the Indians also. Accordingly, the Macaulay Committee, the Committee on the Indian Civil Service, was appointed in 1854. It extended the company's rule and allowed it to retain the possession of Indian territories on trust for the British Crown. But it did not specify any particular period, unlike the previous charters. This was a clear indication that the company's rule could be terminated at any time the Parliament liked. It introduced for the first time local representation in the Indian Central Legislative Council. Of the 6 new legislative members of the Governor General's Council, 4 members were appointed by the local provincial governments of Madras, Bombay, Bengal and Agra. I hope this video is useful for you. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time and please don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you.